Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 7, entitled The Killing of the Demon Trinavrata, verse number 19. Bhumo nidaya tamropi Vismita parapidita Mahapurusamadhatyo Jatatamasa karmasu. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Feeling the child to be as heavy as the entire universe, and therefore being anxious, thinking that perhaps the child was being attacked by some other ghost or demon, the astonished mother Yasoda put the child down on the ground and began to think of Narayana. Foreseeing disturbances, she called for the Brahmanas to counteract this heaviness, and then she engaged in her other household affairs. She had no alternative than to remember the lotus feet of Narayana, for she could not understand that Krishna was the original source of everything. Mother Yasoda Mother Yasoda did not understand that Krishna is the heaviest of all heavy things, and that Krishna rests within everything. Matstani sarvabhutani, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.4, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. Krishna is everywhere in his impersonal form, and everything rests upon him. Nonetheless, na chaham tesu avastitah. Krishna is not everywhere. Mother Yasoda was unable to understand this philosophy because she was dealing with Krishna as his real mother by the arrangement of Yodmaya. Not understanding the importance of Krishna, she could only seek shelter of Narayana for Krishna's safety and call the Brahmanas to counteract the situation. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
He appears, then briefly about that personality Shukadeva Goswami will describe. Because why? Why briefly? Why not detailed? He doesn't know? He knows. Because Parikshit Maharaj is only 7 days time. Never forget that. It's only 7 days time to prepare for death. And Shukadeva Goswami's recommendation is, you hear about the Supreme Lord, I shall narrate to you. So, while in the 9th canto, he is summarizing the dynasties. This is a characteristic of a Purana. Purana means not only there are different topics of the spiritual subject matter, but also spiritual and material subject matter, but also certain specific descriptions of great dynasties in which extraordinary personalities appear. Now, while he is describing the dynasties, he comes to the Yadu dynasty and says, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared in that Yadu dynasty as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. And briefly he describes Krishna's pastimes. Just like he described briefly Rama's pastimes, Parashurama's pastimes. Parashurama appeared in Bhrigu dynasty. Rama appeared in Bhrigu dynasty. Like that, so many dynasties he has explained. And extraordinary personalities who appear in dynasty were also great devotees like Ambarish Maharaj, Ranti Deva, great, pure devotees, great devotees. They appeared in some dynasty. They were kings, but they were extraordinary personalities as pure devotees of Krishna, the Supreme Lord. So when he finished that, okay, now I have described all the dynasties. Immediately Parikshit Maharaj puts forward a question. He first of all glorifies Shukadeva Goswami for so nicely explaining the different dynasties, and he particularly want to hear about Krishna. Why? Because Krishna saved him in his mother's womb. Krishna saved him in his mother's womb. And Krishna gave a glimpse of darshan to him in his mother's womb. And Parikshit, after he was born, he started searching for that personality who gave darshan in the mother's womb. Where is that person? I want to see him. I want to see him. I want to see him. So he became known as Examiner Parikshit, because he's always looking at every person. Is this the person I have seen in the mother's womb? Is this the person? This is the person? No. Everywhere, no. Finally, the stage came when he's looking for Krishna. It's also because he is an eternal devotee of Krishna. He has appeared for the sake of delivering all the living entities, which is Krishna's mission in this material world, appearing his mission. So he also comes for the same purpose. Prabhupada, he has appeared for the same mission as Krishna, to deliver all the living entities in this body, at least all the human beings in this material world. So, Parikshit is actually a devotee of Krishna. He knows who is Krishna, he knows everything. But still, these great devotees, when they appear as human beings, then they behave like a human being. They behave like a human being. And obviously he has to do his duties as a human being. He's appeared in a royal dynasty. So he took charge of ruling. He was trained up to take charge of ruling the kingdom of the entire world, Hastinapura. The king of Hastinapura is the king of the whole world. He is the Chakravarti, the emperor of the whole world in those times. So he has taken charge and he is doing his duty. So while he was touring his kingdom, he heard how Lord Krishna actually was so very kind to his grandfathers that they were also devotees of Krishna, of course. But still, Krishna was so kind to them that he acted as their messenger, as their well-wisher, as their cousin, as their friend, as their superior, as their family member. So many different ways Krishna showed his affection for the Pandavas. And wherever he went, he heard the glorification of Krishna and the Pandavas from the citizens. And his heart was overwhelmed by the devotion for Krishna that he already naturally has. And then when he heard about the curse, he decided that he is going to retire from his kingly duties and he is going to prepare for death. And what preparation? He knows what to do. He simply has to be in Krishna consciousness and await death. But at taking a humble position, he inquired from saintly persons going to a holy place. And the saintly persons are telling 7 days' time is not enough for perfection. While Shukadeva Goswami arrives and everybody recognizes Shukadeva Goswami is the right person to answer his question, what should he do to perfect his life before death comes? How to prepare for death? And Shukadeva Goswami says 7 days is a lot of time. 1 moment is enough. If you are able to absorb your mind in Krishna consciousness. And how does he do that? Simply by hearing about Krishna. Simply by hearing about Krishna. You hear about Krishna. Hear with rapt attention. It's like the sages of Naimisharanya. They are sitting and hearing Suta Goswami with rapt attention. Because Suta Goswami is speaking about Krishna. So like that, Parikshit is very attentively hearing and he wants to hear in detail about Krishna. He's just waiting. Because Shukadeva Goswami is also a devotee of Krishna. Parikshit is also a devotee of Krishna. Neither of them need to hear about Krishna. One is inquiring, other one is speaking simply for the benefit of the people in general. They are simply discussing. Question and answer session is going on for the benefit of others. So, in describing in detail this 7th chapter, the killing of demon Trinavarta doesn't contain just the pastime of Krishna killing Trinavarta. It contains 3 pastimes. The first one is killing the demon Shakatasura. The second one is killing the demon Trinavarta. Third one is Krishna showing his universal form in the mouth to Mother Yashoda. So here, Krishna is preparing for Trinavarta to come and carry him away by making Mother Yashoda put him on the ground. So Mother Yashoda is actually playing with the child. But the child is thinking this Mother Yashoda should not be disturbed by this demon taking him away. So before the demon comes, he wants Mother Yashoda to put him on the ground. So what he does, he becomes as heavy as the universe. Now, somebody may think this is all simply some fictitious story. Later, readers who read this, or anybody hears from the Brajavasis, Krishna performing such lila, they think it's all simply some sentimental exaggeration. No, Shukadeva Goswami justifies Mahapurusham Adadhyo. The gopis, they are devotees of the Supreme Lord Narayana. They are all Vaishnavas. But Vaishnavas, different Vaishnavas worship different plenary expansions of the Supreme Lord. So even though they are actually devotees of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, still, for the sake of Krishna's pastimes, Krishna arranges through Yogamaya that their knowledge about Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered. And all the Brajavasis who are devotees of Krishna, actually their knowledge becomes covered. And that covered knowledge, what will they do? They are devotees of Krishna, but they will worship Narayana or Vishnu. They worship Narayana because they are Vaishnavas. They are Vaishnavas, so they worship Narayana. They do not worship Krishna. They never worship Krishna. Because Krishna has appeared as the son of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj as a covered boy, small covered boy. And everybody, being his devotee, has got a very intimate devotional relationship with him. Devotional relationship. So in that devotional relationship, they are serving him. Devotional service means to serve Krishna. They are serving him. But how are they serving? They are not serving the way other devotees serve Narayana or Vishnu. They are not serving that way. They are serving in a mood of spontaneous devotion. Raganuga bhakti. Raganuga bhakti. Whereas the devotees in Vaikuntha and the devotees even in this material world, in the Vishnu Loka, they serve the Supreme Lord in reverential devotion. Aishwarya Yukta Bhakti. That means they always are conscious that Vishnu or Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is worshipable, supremely worshipable. And therefore they constantly engage in his worship. And that worship is not limited to just the ritual of worship, archana. They serve him in so many ways, in all possible ways. And their only business is serving him. They know their business. They have nothing else to do. That is the characteristic of a pure devotee. So certainly, these Brajavasis are all pure devotees of Krishna. And they are also always engaged in serving Krishna. But the way they serve Krishna is totally different. That nobody, even the Vaikuntha Vasis, cannot make out these are devotees of Krishna who are serving Krishna. They think they are all devotees of Narayana and they are worshipping Narayana. Because all the Brajavasis in their home, they are having a home, right? And these are Grahasthas, right? They have a home. In the home, whom they worship Narayana. And when Krishna is having danger, Mother Yashoda will take shelter of Narayana. She doesn't know, or rather, she is made to forget Krishna is the original Narayana. She knows. All the devotees are full knowledge in Vrindavan that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they are made to forget that for Krishna's pastimes. So here, described, feeling the child to be as heavy as the entire universe and therefore being anxious, thinking that perhaps some demon is attacked, some ghost is attacked the child. Mother Yashoda became very anxious. What's happened to my child? Immediately, the child has become heavy, so she put the child down. She could not carry the child anymore. And called for the Brahmanas. Bless this child and protect this child against attack by some ghost. And after that, Brahmanas came and did the rituals for protection of the child. When the Brahmanas went away, Mother Yashoda became busy with her household things. And Shukadeva Goswami is adding one more thing, that Mother Yashoda had no alternative other than to remember the lotus feet of Narayana. She had no other alternative. That's also a characteristic of a pure devotee. Whenever there is danger, a pure devotee always depends on protection from Krishna, praise to Krishna only. Whereas those who are not devotees, they may take shelter of someone other than Krishna, other than Narayana, other than the Supreme Lord. They may take shelter of some demigod, they may take shelter of some powerful person. That's described in 17th chapter. How is it described? Yajante Satvika Devan. Those who are in Sattva Guna, they worship demigods. They worship demigods. Then those who are in Rajoguna, they worship powerful persons, asuras, rakshasas, yakshas, yaksharakshamsi rajasaha. And those who are in Tamoguna, they worship ghosts and spirits. Bhuta preta ganams chanye yujante tamasa janaha. So, they worship means their source of protection or source of, help, when they're in danger, is always some other personality other than Krishna or the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they're called non-devotees. Sometimes people wonder, why you call them non-devotees? Because one who is worshipper of Krishna or Narayana or the Supreme Personality of Godhead alone is to be called a devotee. Bhakti means to worship or to serve or to respect or to bow down to Krishna, Narayana, Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whereas to worship or bow down before the Devatas, that's a characteristic of those in Sattva Guna, but it is out of the conditioning of Sattva Guna that is described in detail in the 17th chapter. Anyway, I won't get into that. So here it is described by Shukadeva Goswami that Yashoda is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, she had no recourse other than to remember the lotus feet of Narayana. And he also says she could not understand that Krishna was the original source of everything. Krishna was the original source of everything. She couldn't understand. And this Krishna is arranged because he wants to perform his leelas in relationship with his pure devotees in Vrindavan. That's the point. Today is also Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day. I will speak a little about Bhakti. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the spiritual master of Srila Gaurkeshodas Babaji Maharaj, who is the spiritual master of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So he's one of our previous acharyas, but his life is extraordinary. Extraordinary. I'll just say a little about his biography. He was born in 1838. How many years? Little less than 200 years back. He was born in Birnagar, near Mayapur, West Bengal. And he is celebrated as the 7th Goswami in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. You all have heard of 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, the principal disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were all contemporaries of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, except Jiva Goswami. So, the 6 Goswamis, after them, Bhaktivinoda Thakur appeared many years later, say 250 years later. But still, he is regarded on an equal level with the 6 Goswamis. Therefore, he is called the 7th Goswami. And because, not because he was a sannyasi or he was a renunciant, but because his work, preaching work, is as extensive and valuable as the work done by the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. So, he revived Lord Chaitanya's mission of practicing pure devotional service at a time when so many pseudo devotees were spreading, claiming to be followers of Chaitanya and spreading so many wrong things about bhakti. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura identified 31 apasampradayas. They are not proper sampradayas, not proper traditions, teaching proper bhakti that was taught originally by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are misrepresenting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because as soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared, sometime in 1534, immediately so many so-called followers of Chaitanya, they became leaders of common people as gurus or matadipatis. They started their own mutt and they accepted worship. They began to give mantra diksha. So many of them. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did empower so many devotees to preach. But the genuine devotees will simply preach, that's all. And what did he ask them to preach? Make people chant Hare Krishna, perform Sankirtana, do japa. That's all. That's all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually requested everyone to chant Hare Krishna in two ways, japa and Sankirtana. But these bogus followers, they were preaching and teaching so many things. Some of them would dress like Krishna and take young girls as gopis and perform rasa dance. This is totally bogus. Nowhere any of the scriptures teach us imitate Krishna's rasa dance. We should follow in the footsteps of Krishna. But we should not imitate Krishna. We should follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, like Haridas Thakur was chanting 3 lakh names every day. Comes to about 192 rounds of Hare Krishna. 192 rounds. Practically he was chanting 22 hours in a day, 24-hour day. So, we cannot imitate Haridas Thakur. We have to follow his footsteps. We should also chant every day Hare Krishna. But for us, Srila Prabhupada has said, chant 16 rounds. Of course, he says chant 13 rounds minimum. If you have time, you chant more. But don't imitate and try to chant 192 rounds. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. So even great devotees after Haridas Thakur, they would not chant 192 rounds every day. For example, Raghunath Das Goswami, principal disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he used to chant 64 rounds Hare Krishna mantra every day. He would not chant 192 rounds. So, don't imitate. Similarly, the teaching in the Bhagavatam by Shukadeva Goswami, when he described the rasa dance, pastime of Krishna, he said, don't imitate Krishna. Don't imitate Krishna. He has taught that also. But that is ignored by all these bogus gurus, bogus sampradaya people. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur saw so many people preaching Krishna consciousness as followers of Chaitanya. They are worshipping Chaitanya. They are reading some books about Chaitanya's biography, Lord Chaitanya's biography, but they are misleading the people. So he did a lot of work to actually correctly establish the bhakti practice as taught by Lord Chaitanya, the pure teachings of Chaitanya re-established. He wrote a small booklet, The Life and Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. A small booklet in English. And he sent that to foreign countries, important libraries and universities where there was a branch of study of Indian philosophy called Indology. He sent. And Prabhupada, when he was in Montreal preaching, one of his disciples went to the Montreal library for something, I don't know for what, and he found a copy of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, that booklet which Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sent during his time, that was found in the library by disciple of Prabhupada. And he immediately borrowed that and brought it and showed Prabhupada. Prabhupada was very pleased. Oh, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book is here in this library. Which library is that? McGill University Library. Somewhere in Montreal, I think. So, Prabhupada was very pleased, and Prabhupada said that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the Acharya who is the pioneer of the program to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. He began this mission of preaching outside of India. He began. And then it was taken forward further by his son, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, who actually sent his disciples to so many foreign countries. 4 countries he sent. I think somewhere in Thailand, Germany, England, and one more country. He sent his disciples to start preaching mission there. And of course, Prabhupada was given the order by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to preach in the English-speaking countries, and Prabhupada went to America. And Prabhupada actually spread it all over the world by traveling personally to different countries in all the 6 continents Prabhupada traveled. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the pioneer of the program to preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. So, he also published a lot of books. He has written over 100 books, 100 books. It's not that as a writer, he was only busy all the time writing. No, he did so many things. His schedule was occupying his waking hours, 21 waking hours out of 24. He used to sleep only 3 hours. 21 hours he was busy. And it is given here in one summary, in one book about his daily schedule, that he used to sleep 3 hours, he used to write 8.5 hours, 4.5 hours he used to do japa and study, and 6 hours he used to do official work. He was a district magistrate during the British time. He was very well educated in law and in English, and he knew 6 languages. He published magazines, one magazine particularly, Sajjana Toshani, in 6 languages. 6 languages he published. English, Hindi, Bengali, Oriya, Assamese. How many others? 5 and one more. So 6 languages is to publish a monthly Sajjana Toshani. So he used to extensively work for preaching Krishna consciousness. He used to hold discourses on Bhagavatam, which was attended by tens of thousands of people wherever he went. He became very, very famous as the best speaker of Bhagavatam. Because there are so many other, this Bhagavat Saptaha, this tradition, imitating Shukadeva Goswami speaking 7 days Bhagavatam, is not the recommendation for all of us, for the later people. Because Parikshit Maharaj is 7 days time, Shukadeva Goswami spoke for 7 days. But that's not the recommendation for us. But these bogus guys, they do Bhagavad Saptaha, imitating Shukadeva Goswami. But Bhaktivinoda Thakura would not do that. Wherever he went, he would preach Bhagavatam. If he had only 1 hour, he would speak only 1 hour on Bhagavatam. If he had 3 hours, he would stay 3 days, he would speak 3 days, 2 hours or something on Bhagavatam. So he used to preach Bhagavatam. He has written one summary of the Bhagavatam called Krishna Samhita. One book he has written, just summarizing the whole Bhagavatam. Like that, he's done a lot of work, and he actually used to chant and study for 4.5 hours. He's written a lot of songs in simple Bengali, explaining the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. The song we sang at the beginning of this, before this class, Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, that's written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura himself. So he has given the essence of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness in very simple words in the form of songs. In fact, one of the songs, Yashomati Nandana, glorifying Krishna, very, very simple song, but the meaning is very deep. So he has written that song. Like that, he has written so many songs glorifying Krishna, glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, glorifying the Acharyas, glorifying the different incarnations, and most importantly, he has written many, 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 many songs glorifying the holy name of Krishna. Holy name of Krishna. So many songs he has written. He has even explained the Shikshashtaka. He's written a book explaining the Shikshashtaka itself. And he has described the importance of chanting the holy name by giving a detailed account of a conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from Haridas Thakur, what is the hope for so many living entities suffering in this world, in this Kali Yuga? They are completely lost. They don't have any proper direction. What is the hope for them? So Haridas Thakur, even though he knew Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, still he engaged in that conversation with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he described the only means and the most effective means is chanting of the holy name of Krishna in the form of the Hare Krishna mantra. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquires from Haridas Thakur, and Haridas Thakur keeps on answering, and that is documented by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, but it is very brief. Whereas Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a detailed account of that conversation in the form of a book called Harinama Chintamani. Harinama Chintamani is written a book. So like that, he has given lot of literature. He preached, he established the practice of Krishna consciousness in groups called Namhatta. Namhatta literally means the marketplace of the holy name. Hatta means a market. Market means, why he called it a marketplace of the holy name, the satsang where he used to conduct in different places. Because in a market, anybody can go and purchase whatever they want simply by paying the price for it. In a market, they don't ask, what is your background? Who are you? Which caste you belong? Why he said this is because the holy name, anyone can chant and make their life perfect. Whereas for doing deity worship, for performing yajna, for doing meditation, for practicing jnana yoga, so many qualifications are required. This is exactly what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita also. Same thing, he is teaching that in this satsang, anyone can actually come to this satsang and purchase the method of practicing bhakti, purchase the holy name. And what is the price they had to pay? Only their faith, Shraddha. What is the price they had to pay? Shraddha. Even if somebody's got little faith, genuine faith, then with that faith, if they come to this Namahatta, then they are taught about chanting the holy name. And then if they pay the price of Shraddha, then they have purchased the holy name. Then after purchasing the holy name, what do? Like you purchase something which you want to utilize. So how do you utilize what you have purchased? If you purchase the holy name, you're going to chant the holy name. You're going to chant the holy name. So with that little faith, they actually begin chanting the holy name after being introduced to it in the Namahatta. Then they become pure devotees. That's it. Because he has extensively explained how to chant, what are the mistakes one may do in chanting because of which they can't advance and become perfect devotees, etc. Everything is explained. So that way he preached, he wrote books, he established these groups of preaching centers, Namahatta, and he also regulated the worship of Lord Jagannath in Jagannath Puri, because so many irregularities were happening. The timing was not maintained for the proper offerings throughout the day, and some people were cheating in the name of doing service for pilgrims. And some of the holy places in Bengal, there were dacoits who were looting the pilgrims. So as a district magistrate, he tightened the law and order situation so that pilgrims could actually safely go and visit the holy places. And in Puri, he actually regulated the timing of offering. He set right the timing of offering. Not that they can offer whenever they want or however late they want. No. He set right the timings. He also looked into the corruption that had crept into the temple affairs for the pilgrims. So many pilgrims were getting cheated by so many corrupt priests. So he actually took stern action against the corrupt priests and warned the others that if they don't properly give service, then they will be actually punished. And one bogus incarnation, Bishika Shen, who was actually posing as incarnation of Vishnu. He is a rascal, number one. But he is posing as an incarnation of Vishnu and cheating so many people to worship him, to give him so many donations, basically money making and enjoying that name and fame. So there were so many complaints against him, but nobody was able to deal with that. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually went as the district magistrate, arrested him for all the nonsense that he was doing. And then when he was arrested, then he did not know what to do. So he committed suicide in the jail. He was just arrested just for the sake of punishing him, not that he was given death sentence, but he committed suicide. He knew that he cannot continue anymore with his bogus activities. He committed suicide because he knew that anymore it's not going to work. So like that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually did a lot of work for establishing real religious principles. Saddharma samsthapako. This told about the 6 Goswamis. They did so much work to establish the real religious principles. The real religious principle which is prominent in Kali Yuga, recommended in Kali Yuga, is chanting of the holy name of Krishna, especially in the form of the Hare Krishna mantra. But you don't see so many people preaching this chanting of the holy name. They don't preach this. There are many people don't preach this. Though they teach so many other things. They teach Hatha Yoga, they teach this thing, Jnana Yoga, they teach Karma Yoga. So many other things they teach. But they don't teach Bhakti Yoga. And even those who teach Bhakti Yoga, they teach so many rituals connected with deity worship. But they don't teach chanting of Hare Krishna, the holy name of God. They don't teach that. So many, you can see, so many temples, so many preachers are there in the temples, in the mutts. Do they teach people to chant the holy name? No, they don't teach that. Though they talk about it, but they don't teach that. So, this is what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur did. He taught the right process for practicing dharma, chanting of the holy name. He wrote so many books, so many songs about the importance of chanting the holy name. He also conducted practical sessions of how to actually perform the Sankirtan and Japa in satsang. Groups he created, Namhatta groups, all over Bengal and Orissa. That was the region he traveled, because he was being posted in different places in these by the British government. He used to preach. Only 6 hours he worked, that's all. Rest of the time he was only preaching, writing, and worshipping and doing japa. 3 hours rest. And 6 hours duty, 9 hours. Balance time, only Krishna consciousness. This is called Acharya. So today is appearance day. So let us pray to him to bless us with his mercy, so that we also become nice devotees. By his blessings, we'll be able to nicely chant and nicely practice Krishna consciousness and make advancement. Hare Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai.